here's a life hack. If you get married at Christmas time, you ain't got to decorate that shiz. It's already decorated.
Welcome to another episode of Chewing the Fat. I am your host, Big Rob. Thank you so much for tuning in. I certainly do appreciate that. Thank you for all the folks who have bought me coffee at chewingthefatbr.com. I really appreciate that. And then the folks that have written reviews as well on Apple Podcasts and giving the 5-star ratings, that means so much to me, and I really, really appreciate it. I'm excited about my guest for today. I've known him for probably 15 or so years. He's one of the first folks that I ran into in town, in theater. Please welcome Wes Hennings.
Big Rob, what is going on?
Hey, buddy.
Can I tell you how excited I am to be here?
You are beaming.
I am such a fanboy of Big Rob right now, because here's what happened. We were having lunch a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the podcast. And I
hadn't listened at all.
I hadn't listened
at all.
And you gave me this look like we are not friends.
Like this will be the last lunch.
It was the we are not friends look. And so I went home immediately, probably on the way home from that lunch, started listening to the podcast. And man, this is so much fun. Like
it is.
One, of course, your voice is like the perfect radio voice. I mean, and I'm not just blowing smoke here. It's like, you know, you just need to narrate. Some people want Morgan Freeman to narrate their life. For me, it's Big Rob.
I appreciate that. I don't know if I'll be able to get my head out of the studio now that you've inflated it so much, but I appreciate that. Wes, we met, I believe, at an audition for the Augusta Players. Mm-hmm. It was my first show as, talking with Ryan, who actually got me to that audition for Jekyll and Hyde. Mm-hmm. And I got cast in the show, as many males often do.
Right. Listening to that episode with Ryan, I was like, so that's when I met Big Rob.
It was.
I was like, because I don't remember. You've just been it's been such a long time now. I'm like, I just feel like you've just always been here. But and people don't know you were also in my wedding.
Yes.
So
in the wedding,
got married a while back now, 9 years. Yeah.
Wow. Has it been that long? Mm-hmm. That is so
crazy.
That's awesome though. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
We had a good time. 3 days after Christmas.
Yeah,
you know, nothing like doing it right in the busiest season of the year.
All right. You know,
all kinds of crazy work happening.
I mean, but the decorations were already there. So,
exactly. Here's a life hack. If you get married at Christmas time, you ain't got to decorate that shiz. It's already decorated.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
That's your value bomb.
If you're going to take anything from this episode, that's it.
That's the one. That's the one. But yeah, and it's funny. We both kind of had similar backgrounds. We both worked at Channel 12.
Yes,
for a while. Obviously we didn't know that right away. But then
12 on your side.
Mm-hmm. Back in the day, I worked there several years before you did, because I'm also several years older than you are. But it's just funny that the way that lives can intertwine and interweave similar life experiences and stuff like that. But having somebody I could talk nerdy video stuff with, and editing and production and cameras and all that stuff, that was so cool. And then you're just such a talented performer.
Oh man.
And always one of my favorite character actors whenever you're in things. And we've done several shows together. Like I said, Jekyll and Hyde was the first one. We also have done, I think we did a couple of ones out at Fort Gordon.
Yes.
Was it the Sherlock Holmes and the West End Horror?
Yes. I was like, he does so many Sherlock Holmes things out there. It's hard to remember which is which.
I think there's another one going on this week. Steve's got another one going on this week. It's a Ken Ludwig Sherlock Holmes one that's going on this weekend. But
and so here's what people don't know about character actors is that is the fun thing to be.
Oh yeah.
Like everybody dreams of being Brad Pitt or, Jennifer Aniston. No, that is hard work. Being the lead. I've been the lead in a couple shows that don't require, Brad Pitt looks to be the lead.
Were you the baker in?
I played the baker in Into the Woods, and Charlie Brown in
Charlie Brown
titular role. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
of that show. So when you're playing the lead, you have to work. Like, you have to carry the show. You have to make sure that stuff happens.
Yeah.
But when you're a character, you get to come on and just chew scenery in those scenes.
Yeah.
And people love it.
Oh, yeah.
They just eat it up. You get wild applause in the curtain call. You didn't practice nearly as much. You didn't have nearly as much stress as those other people.
You had that one big song or that one big scene and you just killed it. And then you're like, thank you.
And then you're like, okay, I'm drinking beer in the back. That doesn't really happen. But.
No, but that is true. That is true. Character. And when you're an actor and you know yourself, and I know myself,
right.
And I know that the shape of my body only fits into certain roles. I was talking with Jay about this. I know I'm going to be cast as the neighbor or the friend or the goofy whatever. That's just me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Because that is the fun stuff. That's some of the fun stuff. It's like, maybe it doesn't have as much glamour as some of the other stuff, but it is. Those are the fun roles.
Rob, were you in South Pacific?
I was not.
Okay. We did South Pacific, and I don't know that this story translates via audio.
Okay.
But there was
there in my mind.
There was like a 16-year-old boy in the show.
Mm-hmm.
He was very devout, Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints. And we were singing a song that there's nothing like the shape of a dame.
Okay.
And so he gets to sing that role and needs to make the shape of a dame with his hands on the stage. I promise you, the first time we made that, the boy straight made a triangle.
Ooh.
I was like, I don't know what kind of women you're looking at the church.
What does dame mean in
Yes,
Mormon? What does dame mean?
So I don't know where that came from. That's free.
But that's. But when I'm just saying, like the people that you interact with, the different skill sets of people that you have. I found that second family doing theater. I tell anyone that if you ever have any inkling of wanting to do that type of stuff, search it out. There's groups that are looking for people here, and they will welcome you in. There
is a community of people doing almost anything you want to do, I feel like. But no, you're exactly right, because I came to Augusta, Georgia, as a little kid from Arkansas when I was 22 years old and didn't know a soul in this area, and got involved with the theater community, and they became my family. I had a church family as well. So faith is a big part of my life, but that theater family was there for me through so much stuff. And, rehearsals can get intense and can get long. So when you're involved in a show, if you're not working, you're practicing this craft. So, so you get to know them so well. And, so many of them were at the wedding. So many of them are just family to me, and they're scattered across the United States, across the globe now. But we keep up because they're family.
Exactly. You talk about moving here from Arkansas. What precipitated the move from Arkansas? Why Augusta from Arkansas?
I was going to be the thing in television news, Rob.
Okay.
Because I'm a person of a certain girth, it wasn't in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But I was going to produce the news, and it was going to be awesome. I was headed to New York City.
Okay.
But you got to pay your dues.
Yeah.
You got to take a job in a small market. So I ended up in Augusta, Georgia, which is not the smallest market, actually.
I think
it's a nice mid-size.
Yeah. I think it's like 100, something like that.
Yeah, like around 110 was probably where it was then. It may fluctuate a little.
Yeah.
But so took a job in Augusta, and it sucked. I hated television news.
So had you done television news before coming here?
Nope, in college.
Oh, okay. So this was the first out of college. This was my
first. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I really despised it.
Yeah.
So I decided one night that I could not write another story about a house fire in downtown Augusta. Like that was the last thing I could do anymore. And so my worship pastor at my church said, "Hey, we're looking to bring a media guy on at the church." And so that's where I went and spent the next decade and some change there.
Wow.
And now I'm one of those people who decided to blow up my life in the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So changed jobs during the pandemic, found a job that I can work remote. I love it. My wife also quit her job and decided to start a business during the pandemic. So,
I think the pandemic was one of those situations. Yes, a lot of bad happened. We lost friends. We lost common friends during COVID. But there were a lot of people that took that as an opportunity for self-reflection.
Exactly.
And what is important? What am I willing to put up with? What am I not willing to put up with? And if I catch this thing and it's going to kill me, and I look back, how regretful am I going to be for what I've done up to this point?
Right.
And if I'm over a certain amount of regret, then you know what? I'm going to go ahead and change this and do what I can while I can to make it better for myself.
Exactly. And I had a plum gig. My job at the church was amazing. I loved it. Those people are also my family. Yeah. It's my actual family. And then the church and the theater folks, they're always with me through a lot of stuff I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah.
But, it was hard. It was a hard decision to leave, but you come to that point where you say, this was a season in my life and I can love that season and I can look back on it and say, dang, that was a great season of my life. But that season came to an end.
Right.
Summer's a great season. It's really hot here in Augusta. Super hot. Yeah. But sometimes that season ends and it's time to put out the pumpkins. You know what I mean?
Yes. TSL everything. Yes.
Right. I heard somebody say the other day that hating pumpkin spice is more basic than pumpkin spice. And I thought, okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay with pumpkin spice. I mean,
I mean, I'll drink it with all the Karens out there. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is like, not to get off on a different tangent, but yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of cinnamon. So, and that's when you talk about pumpkin spice, it's not a whole lot of pumpkin flavor in it.
No,
it's mostly the spice. So, but I mean, yes, I realize there's pumpkin puree and this, that, and the other in it. But anyway, I digress. But yes, like you said, a season changed. Time to put on a different suit, and this suit was one that you could wear at the house in your boxer shorts. It's like, hey, because you have 2 daughters.
Yes, 2 very rambunctious twin girls, 3 years old,
and so that gives you more time to be there, to be present. That's one of those things, that I learned, even with my boys being 24 and 27. During shutdown and all like that, being able to spend more time and have a little bit more time together. It's like now there are times when it's too much. It's like, okay, I need to step outside for a few minutes. I can't stand you at this moment. Please stop.
And ministry is a lifestyle gig, really. Which is great because it's flexible and you have a lot of time with your family and stuff there too, but you're also away on Sundays. You have nighttime church commitments, you have a lot of stuff like that, and it's nice now to have weekends to go to church as a family to actually spend time with to
not be worried about camera 2 not showing up or that you've got hum in a cable and you can't figure out where it's coming from, and so you can actually sit and actually soak in the message.
After I left my job at the church, somebody said, when you were at the church working, did you actually go to church? And I had to stop and think about it because, I mean, you sit in the services and watch them, but are you ever watching without that critical eye, without saying, I know that should have gone better. Oh, this is not what's supposed to be happening right now.
We missed that cue. Yeah.
Or texting on your phone the person that's in charge while you're in the seat.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And I mean, because you have very good work ethic, and that's something that you're very conscientious of, is you want those things to go right. And, some people will say, well, I don't want to go to a church where it's a concert or it's a show. and I'm going to say this as someone who has directed shows, who has directed television, who's directed live concerts in the Georgia Dome. Yes, there is ministry that is happening in the message that's being given. But yes, also there is a technical side of it that is a show. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that in a degrading type of term, but it is. And you sometimes you that's how you refer to it, as like, this is the show. This is because that's the energy and the effort that people put into to not perform but present.
Right. But that's how people connect with things now.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree that rock and roll church, which some people call it, is not for everybody.
Right.
Some people connect with the liturgical, with
just
the hymns and the choral.
Hymnal and standing up and kneeling and whatever.
But some people need the modern trappings, I would say, to really kind of break down those walls and say, this is something I can relate to. Mm-hmm. The scriptures are something that are timeless and modern and relevant.
Right.
And so where my pastor likes to say we're the buckle of the Bible Belt here in Augusta, because this is where it's like the most churches per capita or something like that. And the Southern Baptist Convention was started at the First Baptist Church here on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of flavor for everybody here.
Right. But at that, and to get back to that, it's great now that you can go and you can sit there and get fed.
Exactly.
You get fed instead of worry about feeding others and making sure that things go the way they're supposed to. You can now take in.
Exactly.
And when something goes wrong, you may still, that antenna is going to pop up, because I do that on watching television commercials when things get out of sync or something. I'm like, whoop, I didn't mean to do that. That antenna pops up, but you can be like, oh, that was probably wrong. But you also have that part that you're like, oh, but I don't have to fix it.
That's not my problem.
That's not my problem.
Yeah, sometimes
I may text the person afterwards and be like, "Oh, sorry,
that was a tough day for you."
Yes, that looked like that was a rough day. Hope it gets better.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's part of who you are and who you become. So doing that, and now you have this work from home gig. You've got a different type of schedule.
It's one of those. The other day I looked down and I was wearing gym shorts and I had on a button-up long sleeve shirt because I was doing Zoom calls, and I was like, this is, if anyone walked into this room right now, this would be a very funny situation. But that, I think we've all gotten used to the gym shorts and dress shirts life at this point.
Yeah, you just got to make sure that your camera doesn't the tripod doesn't actually tilt down, or you stand up too fast. Don't spill coffee in your lap.
Although you can go viral with those videos.
That's true.
There is a marketing opportunity there.
Yeah, not always the best thing to be known for, but yes, it could happen.
No PR is bad PR. Okay. I've always heard that and thought, no, that's not true.
I don't. Okay. All right.
Well. Exactly. So we've got the twin little girls, 3 years old. People say terrible twos. They've got nothing on the threes.
Really?
And I was warned about that. And I said, you're wrong, because two kids at 2 was something.
Right.
But now they talk better. They understand better. Mm-hmm. And at 2, it was just like mischief and they're just getting in there. At 3, it's intentionally
it's
getting on my nerves. Right. You're doing this just to annoy me at this point.
Right.
So, but they're the cutest things.
Yeah.
Since whatever was cute.
Since sliced bread.
Yeah. I thought about that and I thought, well, that's not cute.
It's not cute, but yeah. And if you don't mind.
Yeah. So
the twins are not your only kids.
No, I am. I'm a dad of 3, actually. Mm-hmm. We had I like to say, so we got married in 2012. And then 2014, we bought a house in North Augusta. This is God's side of the river over in South Carolina.
Yes.
I say that because your studio's over here as well.
Right.
And we were working on that white picket fence life. Mm-hmm. Like we literally have a picket fence.
Nice.
So it's not white, but you know, we have the 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath
right.
with the fence. We had the dog at the time, everything, you know, it's that idyllic life that you think that you're supposed to have when you're in your mid-20s, early 30s.
Right.
And so then we found out we were having a son, you know, great news. He was born Graham Taylor Hennings in 2015, and everything was great until he was 6 months old. Mm-hmm. And we went to the doctor, and the doctor got one of those serious faces that you don't like to see.
Right.
And he said, you know, I'm going to have you go to the children's hospital, actually. So we went to the children's hospital that day, and over the next couple months, got a really rough diagnosis, actually. It was called spinal muscular atrophy. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people hear about it, but it's comparable to Lou Gehrig's disease in children, to where the muscles essentially atrophy. Mm-hmm. And that's all muscles, including the muscles that, you know, help you breathe and help you do everything. Oh, wow. So we learned in that couple months that, you know, he was never going to walk. He was never, you know, going to be able to sit up, and that eventually the disease would take his life. We had a lot of hope, like I've been alluding to, we're people of faith, and we believed in, you know, miracles. We prayed big things, and he was doing so great. That was October that he was diagnosed. And so, the church was incredible. My wife stopped working and got to stay home with him for the next 10 months. Mm-hmm. And we didn't miss a bill. We didn't miss a house payment. Everything was just taken care of from the generosity of these people that we call family. Theater and church. You know, it still blows my mind to this day to think about it. And he was getting stronger and better. And I was just telling people how, you know, how everything was just going so well. He was doing so much better than the doctors had said. Mm-hmm. They had told us in that October to put him, you know, on hospice and to get a plan in place. Mm-hmm. And so everything was going great. And I said, you know, there's no reason that this diagnosis has to be what it is. So, you know, let's have big hopes and big plans. And I remember saying, it was a prayer season at the church, and I said, you know, I'm going to pray big prayers. And that season started on a Sunday. On that Monday, I went to church to pray early in the morning. We have early morning prayer services. Mm-hmm. And I remember I said, God, I want you to heal my son. I want him to not have this disease anymore. And went home that Monday morning because we had the day off after the prayer service. My dad came over. He was building a ramp in the backyard to be able to take Graham's chair out there. Mm-hmm. And I went out there to help him build the ramp. And my wife came in and said, something's wrong. Graham has stopped breathing. And so an ambulance ride and a couple of days in the hospital later. And he was healed. My prayer was answered. He didn't have the disease anymore. He didn't hurt anymore, but he wasn't with us here anymore.
Right.
So that's tough.
Yeah.
That is, you're not going to face much tougher than that in life.
Yeah.
So,
how long did you have Graham?
We had Graham for 16 months. So he was diagnosed at 6 months old, and then we had him for an extra 10 months after that. And it was, gosh, if I could have his hair, I mean, I guess he got it from me and Kelly. It was blonde like mine, blonde-ish like mine. So he got the color at least from my side of the family. Mm-hmm. But man, those were some luscious golden locks. We'll have to put a picture on the socials or something.
Yeah.
Because they were something.
Yeah.
Movie star hair. Yeah,
for sure. For sure.
And he just had the most sly smiles, and he was a character. He never said a word, but he was that character actor in our life for sure. Mm-hmm. He would chew the scenery every day.
Yeah.
But the outpouring of love that we saw after that, the people that told us stories about the joy from Graham's life,
Mm-hmm.
And the legacy that has been left behind by that little boy amazes me to this day. It blows me away. We started, when we were in the hospital one time, he spent a month of his life in the hospital, probably. We were there overnight. Kelly met a woman whose child had just come to the hospital to get into the NICU. She didn't have anything on her. She didn't have money for a Coke.
Mm-hmm.
And because she didn't know her day started, and you don't know you're going to the hospital that day.
Right.
You go to work and you never know what the day is going to hold. And so Kelly bought her a Coke, and that the joy that Coke brought to that lady sparked something in my wife where she said, we've got to help these families that don't know. So our church started putting together boxes for kids at the children's hospital. And so we asked people from our church, we have a pretty big church, why don't you put together a box with a teddy bear, some shower gel, a loofah, breath mints, a notepad. You want to take the notes of what the doctor's going to say, but you're scrambling.
Right.
And so these boxes now, we do it at Easter time, at Christmas time, and we leave these boxes in the room for parents. And the notes that we get back from that are incredible. Just small kindnesses. You don't have to be doing something huge to make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
It's those small kindnesses that really can improve somebody's day, really be something for somebody in a bad. If you're going to the hospital, you're not having a great day.
Right.
I mean, that's not what you get up in the morning wanting to do.
Right.
So, it's just been, and so many things like that. I couldn't even name them all about all that really incredible stuff that's happened. But from that, we had the chance to adopt these two beautiful little girls. Mm-hmm. And, there's sadness there because there's no world in which our son and our daughters are together.
Right.
Does that make sense? There's no picture in our head where at the Thanksgiving table that all three of them are there.
Right.
But there is something beautiful that came out of that story.
Yeah.
And now that we have these little munchkins that drive us crazy, you see the beauty through the pain. Yeah. And so that's, it really isn't, I could talk all day about it because the blessings and miracles out of that story are insane. Mm-hmm. But it has shown me that, because, when I left ministry, stuff like that, I was like, am I giving up my calling? Am I, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? What I'm supposed to be doing right now in this season is being a dad.
Yeah.
Like for most people, the greatest legacy that you're going to leave behind are the people that you raise.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that quarter that you made the most money for a gigantic corporation. Right. That's a great thing. It pays the bills.
Right.
But that legacy is in those smiles and in those kindnesses and in what you're teaching those kids to do. And so my calling right now is to be a dad to these two little girls and to honor my son's legacy in any way that I can.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those things where, you think you need to do all this chasing and running and you're chasing after the dollar, get that bag, because then that allows you to have these things where, it's those moments that you have of laughing over something stupid with your kids. Someone, one of them's talking to you and it farts just comes out and that just, you both just die laughing about that, or, you laugh so hard it causes you to fart. Now there's more laughter. And it's like, it's just those little moments, those precious things. Those are the things that they'll remember. Those are the stories that they'll be like, I remember when I was a kid, blah, 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 blah. Right. Not, I remember when Dad was not at the house because he took on, a third job so that we could do this other thing. Mm-hmm. It was the time that you were there. So being present, that's one of those things that, we're only given this limited resource we call time.
Right. There's an unlimited amount of money.
There is an unlimited amount of money, but how much of the limited resource of time do you want to trade for that?
Exactly. And that's why I think when we talk about things like finding a second family in the theater or finding that faith community that you can really connect with, those are valuable uses of time. Those are, those enrich your life. They can enrich the lives of other people. And of course, these precious gifts that you're given to raise and send out in the world to do hopefully even better than you have done. That's really what it's all about. And it's so cliche and you hear it, don't chase my, I feel like you hear that ad nauseum. It's in all the movies and whatever, but it gets so real. And I can tell you from someone who wishes they would have worked a little less when they had their son here on earth.
Yeah.
Those Saturdays that I spent doing freelance gigs, I wished really quick that I'd spent a little more time watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse with Graham. You know what I mean? You can't live in regret.
No.
But you have to have perspective.
All right, Wes, this is the time of the show where we'd like to dive a little bit deeper. I know we kind of talked about...
You want to go deeper than this, Rob?
Yeah, wow. I'm just saying we touched the surface on some of this stuff because now I want to talk about you and concentrate on you and the sadness. Everybody deals with sadness. Everybody, I think, deals with a certain amount of depression, anxiety, those type of things. And it's how we deal with that. And when we realize that there are other people that go through the same thing as us, it helps us to make those bonds and those connections as humans, to be able to be, more sympathetic and empathetic with each other. But for you and all that you've gone through, how do you stay positive, and what do you do to keep the dark at bay?
Yeah, there are days when it's tougher than others. And I'm going to start by saying there are resources available that people need to take advantage of. Going to see a professional counselor, that is something that I kind of pushed away before all of this. No, it helped. Having somebody that you can talk to and say anything can be a godsend in some of these moments. And there are some times where you may need a medical solution to get you through some of those dark days. I had a doctor shortly after Graham passed away. She did not give me an option. She said, "I'm giving you this prescription and I need you to take it for a couple months because it doesn't get, this is the worst. Like, right. You're gonna, you need something to make sure you stay even keeled through this." And I am so thankful that happened. I also had my pastor who looked in our eyes, after the diagnosis and knowing what was coming and said, this is as bad as it gets. You have survived the worst of what life is going to throw at you, and you can make it.
Yeah.
You have proved to yourself that you can make it. And so those words have come back to me a lot. I've survived the worst at what life it can throw at me. And so bring it on, baby. You know what I mean? I've gotten through that and I'm standing, and I can take what's next. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt like hell.
Yeah.
Like, I mentioned Thanksgiving tables. There's always someone missing at every family gathering, at every birthday party. There's someone that's not there.
Yeah.
And we feel that. And the years go on and other people have other lives. They remember, but it's something that you carry with you.
Right.
There was a quote that I found shortly after this, and it was, I can't remember exactly what it was, but the gist of it was, I have a great pain in my life, but I am a joyful person. Joy is a choice that you invest in, and you're going to have bad days. We all have sucky days. But joy and happiness are choices that you make. No, you don't just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be happy today. It doesn't work like that. But you have to make some kind of investment in that day to say, it's going to get a little bit better. I'm going to work on something that's going to make it a little bit better. And this is from somebody who, I apologize if this is too morbid. I've gone to a cemetery where I now have a plot and laid on the ground where I will rest one day and thought, I just want to be in this ground now.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be with my son again. I am over this.
Yeah.
But it's never been one of those situations for me where I wanted to make that day come today.
Yeah.
Maybe I've wished many times it was me instead of Graham.
Yeah.
I've wished so many times that I was with him again, but I have never wanted to take that action because that is not my place to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, in 16 months, the joy that Graham brought into our life, the rest of my life, if I live to 150, cannot spread that kind of joy to other people.
Yeah.
And so for me to be able to give a little piece of it to any person, any day, that is worth waking up that day and trying to do. And so we were at church one day and I got to know this guy and, you know, I'm at church. I'm on stage at church a lot doing the most ridiculous things. I'll dress up in any costume. I'll make any weird sound, do any weird voice just to try to get people to laugh. Like we said, tear down those walls. And, we had connected and I had told him the story about Graham and the story of our life. And then a few weeks later, I was doing something. I was talking to people and just being generally my jovial self.
Right.
And he stopped me and he said, the joy that comes from you, I could never tell what has happened in your life because of that. And I stopped and I thought, then I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
I could spend the rest of my life waking up crying every morning because I can beat you with sad stories. You know what I mean? Do you have a sad story? Guess what? Mine is sadder. I win. But that's not what I'm called to do. You know what I mean? I'm called not to live out the sadness that we experienced. I'm called to live out the joy that our son brought to our life and continues to bring to our life. And that will be his legacy. The scripture that's on the headstone at the cemetery is that there is a greater joy ahead. And so that's, you know, that is talking about heaven and the joy that we're going to experience there. But there's no reason that we can't try to bring some of that joy right now. Yeah. And the other scripture that brings us comfort, and that really, people have a lot of different ways to interact with their faith. And I know sometimes the church has done things that are wrong and the church can turn people off. But if you can get past some of those trappings or maybe some of those things you don't like, and you can invest in some of those scriptures, we've clung to Romans 8:28, where it says, God is working out all things together for the good of those that love him. And it's like you say, well, my son passed away. What are you going to do with that, God? And he shows me every day. You know, every day we get to say, that's what I've done. I've taken this terrible thing and I have done this with it. What are you going to do? It's almost a challenge. Yeah. It's like, what are you going to do with this now? And that's why, now that the girls are getting a little older, I'm thinking about auditioning for theater again, because like I said, when you get up there in one of those character roles and you know that you're nailing it, you're singing a song or something, and you can look at somebody in the eyes and they are just cackling with laughter, or they're moved by some piece of the art that you brought out. There is nothing like that feeling of knowing that you're connecting with someone on a human level. And to be able to do that is just incredible. Did I answer the question? I don't know if I did or not.
Did you?
So what am I doing to keep the dark at bay? When it got really dark, I was not afraid to take professional help or medical help when it was necessary. Yeah. And we're Southern boys. There's a stigma to it. Get over it. Yeah. Someone needs to hear that. Get over it. You need to go talk to somebody. Yeah. You need to maybe ask the doctor if there's something that can help you through this time, because there are ways you're not supposed to feel. And when you start feeling that way, you need to talk to somebody about it.
Yeah.
But there's so many of your guests that say, you've just got to get plugged in. You've got to have support. You've got to have family. And that's true.
Mm-hmm. And it's not a weakness asking for help.
No.
I think that's part of that stigma that you're talking about is people think that it's, oh, well, I'm going to be weak, or I'm not a real man, or, whatever, or you're crazy. And it's like, you got to put all those names aside.
Right.
And it's okay to seek help, whether it be medical, professional, even something like this.
Right.
I've said it before, therapy does not have to be a session where you're laying down on a couch.
Right.
It can be a conversation with a friend that you trust, that you can be open with, that you can let those things that are inside out. And sometimes just letting those things out help so much. Naming the thing takes the power away. It allows you to move through it, to move on, to sometimes you have to walk with it.
Right.
But it gives you that power. If I were to say one of the things, and just from your story and just from what you've said here, one of the things I think that definitely helps you keep the dark at bay is that memory of Graham. Mm-hmm. He was 16 months of concentrated sunlight and joy.
Right.
So much packed into that 16 months that's going to carry you through a lifetime.
Exactly.
And it's going to carry on beyond your lifetime. It's going to carry into your kid's lifetime, and the other people that you touch, the other people that you come in contact with, because you can take that joy and you present it on stage in the characters you play, in the way that you bring about those type of things. That's just an observer's.
I love that. There are some days where I think the joy won't get me through this year 3 of twin daughters, but so far it has carried me, and so we'll see. And now that I'm actually in the 3s, there were people that said, "Oh, wait till you get to 3." Now everybody's saying, "Wait till you get to teenagers." But I'm like, please don't rush it. I don't need. Yeah. I don't need that yet.
No,
but my wife painted a door pink in our house. This is way tangent. And it, to me, symbolized the official takeover of all females in my life. Like, okay, there's a pink door in our house. It's just me and the girls now forever. Here we are. I wouldn't have it any other way.
All right, Wes. It's time for the
Rob,
third segment.
Wait.
What?
Is this the Fast Five?
This is
my dream. Can I do the theme song?
Do you want to do the theme song?
Please.
Okay,
please.
all right. Go
here
ahead.
We go. Fast Five. Fast Five.
Fast Five.
Oh, it's the best theme song. Like I've dreamed. When you asked me to come on here, I was like, I want to do the theme song. So,
well, I'm working on the theme song. I got to talk to my music guy, but it's in the in between time.
I mean, if he needs me,
I'll get his people to contact your people, and we'll get everything together. It is the Fast Five, so it's 5 quick fire questions. You just give me the answer off the top of your head. First thing you should come up with questions I get from the Poddex app. It's an app created by my friend Travis Brown. If you ever have to do any public speaking or anything like that, it's great conversation starters. I mean, it was built for podcasters, but anybody could. You're talking to your Lions Club or something. It's great. It's great conversation starters.
The Rotary.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, if you go to chewinthefatbr.com/poddex, you can get your own Poddex and use the promo code CHEW. You get 10% off. All right. Let's go into this for question number 1.
Ooh, fancy.
If you could go back in time and give your parents advice before you were born, what advice would you give them? This is kind of like one of those Marty McFly things.
Yeah, but no, don't no.
That's, where he's like, if you have a kid and he sets fire to the living room carpet, just be easy on it.
Just be easy. I would say you're doing fine. Give yourselves a break. That's probably too serious of an answer for the Fast Five, but
no. I mean, it's whatever advice you would give your parents. So
my parents were, oh man, we're still best friends. I love them to death. And I know that when I left for college and stuff, they said, "Oh, if we'd have done this different, or we'd have done this different, you're doing great. Just go with your gut. I'm gonna turn out okay."
Okay, that's good. That's good. Your gut's good. Go with that. I like that. Yeah. All right. Question number 2. What's your favorite hobby?
Oh, well, we've already talked about it. It's the theater, of course.
The theater.
Right. I was telling somebody at work the other day, the headquarters is up in New York, and I said, I just want to be up in New York to see shows. My wife and I love the theater. That was so funny to them. I don't know why.
Oh, that you wanted to see shows?
Or maybe that I said it that way?
Oh, you literally said it just like that.
The theater.
I got you. Well, that's great. It's one of my favorite hobbies as well. I love performing. That's one of the reasons why I love doing the podcast and stuff. I feel it's some sort of entertainment. Yeah, you know what I mean. I feel it's entertaining people. I hope it's entertaining to people. I mean,
entertains me.
Well, that's all that matters. I just need that one.
Also, shout out to Jonathan Cook's podcast, Gather by the Ghostlight. Oh yeah, you turned me on to that one, and that, man. Speaking of entertainment, it is a great podcast. I feel like I have to give a shout out there too.
Absolutely. It's a great podcast. You should just definitely check that out. Gather by the Ghostlight. All right, here we go. Number 3. What food can you not find near you that you wish you could? So you're from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Moved here. Is there anything from Arkansas that you can't find here that you wish you could? It doesn't have to be from Arkansas. Just maybe you have a favorite food from some of your travels.
That's hard. This is a hard question.
It's food.
Right. Do you know what I don't feel like you can find enough of anymore is an all-you-can-eat buffet.
COVID.
Well, right. But also, we had a Ryan's here in town. Man, I could take out some Ryan's.
Really?
I remember it from growing up. That's where, in Arkansas, Ryan's is fancy.
Oh, okay.
That's the fancy meal. When you're going out to eat, you're going to the buffet and eat some of them rolls.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Ryan's had some good
and my wife has an aversion to buffets. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So a buffet, a Ryan style buffet. Get those.
Get the steaks, get the
sweet rolls,
yes.
the yeast rolls,
and some banana pudding and ice cream. You can have as many dessert. Maybe it's because you get as many desserts as you want.
Because they had a whole channel for just desserts.
So you can have a bowl with banana pudding, ice cream, and a cookie.
Yeah, all in one, and then go back and get more.
Exactly, and this is why I'm a character actor.
This is why we are men of a certain shape.
Yes.
Hey, question number 4. What do most people take for granted that you've vowed never to take for granted? I know.
Yeah.
That's
we can get pretty deep. I'm trying to think. We'll go back here to fast food probably. I've done some mission trips. And once you've eaten rice and beans for a whole week and you get back to the United States, there's just nothing like a French fry from McDonald's.
Okay.
So, and I know that's not healthy. I know I'm not supposed to eat that. Please don't write me letters, but don't take for granted the luxury of food and greasy food anywhere you want it.
Awesome. All right, here we go. Number 5. Ooh, if someone made a movie about your life, who would play you?
Oh boy.
Now this can be a 2-pronged answer if you want to. Who do you want to play you, and who actually probably would get the role?
I'm thinking Danny DeVito is probably the person that would actually play me.
That would be awesome though, too.
Who would I want to play me though?
Yeah.
Oh man. There's just a lot of just great people that could do it. I feel like it's probably I really have a Will Ferrell vibe about me sometimes.
Okay.
So I feel like there's kind of a connection there. You know, a Saturday Night Live type somebody from that
character
genre.
Actor.
Exactly.
I gotcha. Okay.
So
Will Ferrell's on the list, but Danny DeVito's getting the role. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Awesome.
You also say in this, and I don't think you said it, so I'm calling you out here, that there's no wrong answers.
There are no wrong answers.
There clearly are. No. The very first episode, your trailer episode of this podcast, you said, does the toilet paper go over or under? It always goes over. Okay. Are there people that don't put it over?
Yes, there are. And that's fine.
Are they barbarians?
I mean, I don't know. But see, there's, and I will give this as a reason behind that I've read why people do under, is because they're scared that a spider will be hidden in the over. Because it's over the top, you don't see that there's something in there. You go to pull it, the spider falls out. Whereas if it's under,
there can still be a spider up there.
But you're going to see it. You're not going to fold it up into your wiping materials.
No, I don't accept it.
Okay, well, you don't have to. Still no wrong answers. It's like, it's again, because
I don't know if I believe you that there are no wrong answers.
We'll
continue this discussion off the air.
Well, I mean, I said over. So
yeah, because you're a human being.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, and that's how you see it in the hotels. You can make that little triangle on the top, to know that someone's done something to the toilet paper.
Right. Someone has touched this toilet paper before me.
That makes me so much more confident, especially in the age of COVID.
Yes.
That's it, Wes. Thank you so much.
Man, I loved being here, Rob.
That's the Fast Five. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I love you. I appreciate your friendship, and hopefully we'll get a chance to share the stage again sometime soon. Yes. If people want to keep up with you, how can they find you?
Basically on all the social media, Wes Hennings. So that's the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram.
Okay.
I'm not very active on Twitter.
Okay.
I've started doing some reviews of Walmart pickups lately on my Instagram. People seem to be enjoying that.
Nice.
I've gotten some good feedback. So come and check out the Instagram and see what you can get, because Walmart will give you some good substitutions in the pickup line.
Okay.
Just another little life hack. Y'all are getting so much tonight.
Value bombs.
I'm giving it all away for free too.
Yeah. So I'll put those links in the show notes on here, where you can look for Wes on Instagram at Wes Hennings, or as I like to say, at Wee Shinnings.
Yeah, Wee Shinnings.
At Wee Shinnings.
And thanks again, Rob, for doing this. I really do love what you're doing here and trying to, really just talk to people about real things. And
Absolutely.
We have fun, but there's also a purpose behind it. So thank you for the joy that you're bringing to people's lives.
Thank you, Wes. I appreciate that, buddy. If you would like to support this podcast, you can buy me a coffee at chewingthefatbr.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to the next time when we can sit a spell and chew the fat.